Hello and welcome to Meister Arts and Crafts. I'm Libby and today I will be showing you two simple cards using Distress inks and Distress Oxide inks to paint. For our cards today, we will be using this You Are Love stamp set from Hero Arts, and I'm going to start by laying out the stamps that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using this world, this heart. I'm also going to use not that one, but you make this one beautiful. Okay. So then I'm going to lay them out how I want them. So I'm going to lay them out, and this panel is 3 3/4 by 5 by 5, yeah. And I am just going to lay them out on here. How I want them. Alright. I'm going to scooch that down just a little bit. Alright, so I like that. So now I'm going to take my stamping tool thing and I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to make sure that it's in the same place and make sure that my washi tape is down. And then I'm going to rub the stamps to get any of the film off. And then I am going to grab my embossing and watermark ink from Hero Arts, and I'm going to ink that up. Right. Then I will stamp this, and I'm going to use my stamping tool to stamp onto this piece of paper. Make sure I get good coverage, and just to make sure I haven't really stamped because I don't want to have to do it again, I'm going to ink the stamp back up. Make sure it is in the same place or else it will stamp wrong. Put this back over and stamp down one more time. It didn't get quite everything, so I'm going to make sure that I get that. Stamping. I think that's okay, but I can come in if I want to again. And then I'm going to take this off. And it's okay that the tape is still on there. I will take that off in a little. And I'm going to bring in this folded sheet of cardstock. It's just plain old cardstock. And then I'm going to sprinkle white embossing powder over the top. I think it's actually okay, but I might stamp it again. Alright, then I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and I'm going to let that sit, and then I will heat it. I'm going to get the back to prevent the warping. I'm going to also stamp all of these onto a card base this time. And so I have laid it out because it took a little bit for me to lay it out. So I've already laid it out. And so now I'm going to pick it up. Make sure that is taped down. And then I will grab my Hero Arts embossing and watermark ink again. And I am going to ink these stamps up. use my stamping tool to stamp them onto my card base. And then I'm going to stamp that one more time because I do want to make sure that that is stamped really well and will catch the powder. So I'm going to stamp that again. And that looks really good, so I am going to bring in that half sheet of paper again and the white embossing powder. So, and then I will sprinkle that over the top of my card base here. One more time to make sure that it is good and covered. Alright, and then I'm going to bring in my heat tool again. So I already did one earlier, but I didn't like it and the green just kept turning blue. And so I am going to try another one. And I actually stamped this on a card base this time because I thought it would be better that way. So I'm going to start with the Kitsch Flamingo, and I'm going to lay that down onto my glass mat. And I'm just going to move these out of the way for a moment. And then I'm going to spray a little bit of water in there and then mix it around with my brush. Pick up the color. And then I am not going to go out too outside the lines this time, just a little bit, because I think I'll like this look better. So I completed that. And then I'm just going to spray a little bit of clean water over the side so that I can get my brush wiped off. And then I'm going to take a little rag and just clean that off. And then I'm going to take in some mustard seed. And I am going to do this over the sentiment to kind of bridge the colors a little bit, and so that the sentiment pops a little bit. Just like that. And I don't want to get too crazy. So, yeah. And I'm going to wipe that off. And then I will bring in Twisted Citron. And I'm going to be using Distress Oxides for this. So I kind of want a more chalky, opaque look to this. So I'm going to use Distress Oxides. And I'm going to grab Twisted Citron. Now I think with Twisted Citron, since it was going blue last time, the key is to not get too much liquid on to the paintbrush. So I'm going to go in with less liquid here. And I'm also going to dry it in between the green and the blue so that I can see it turning a little bit blue there. But I hope it won't. I'm going to tap off quite a bit. And then go in with a real light coat. And then I just want to get outside a little bit. And then I'm just going to set that to the side for a moment and bring in the heat gun. Alright, so then I'm going to bring in a little bit more twisted citron right in there. And that's all I'm gonna do because it is starting to look really blue in there. And then I will dry it. So I'm going to try to dab any of the wetness out of there. And then I'm going to just start with the blue, and then hopefully it will be dry and I can go over with another little layer of green. So I'm going to use tumbled glass for my blue. This is a really light blue, so I'm gonna add quite a bit. Oops. And then I will give that a little squirt. I still have a little bit of green on my brush, so I'm gonna wipe that off. And then come in again to the blue. It's not quite blue enough, so come in again. The blue. And a little green did get in it, so it is a little bit more teal, but that's okay. And just getting out a little bit. Right. So that is good, I think. So I'm just gonna wipe my brush off for now. And I'm gonna heat that with my heat tool and just make sure that's really, really dry. Now I'm going to stamp Your Kindness Doesn't Go Unnoticed. So I'm gonna pick that up. You've gotta make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to use the jet black archival ink to stamp that. Right. I don't think I inked that up all the way. So, and then I'm going to stamp that down into the inside of the card, and it looks really, really good. So now I'm going to be using distress inks in Picked Raspberry, Spiced Marmalade, Mustard Seed, and Peacock Feathers. And I have already laid them out onto the side over here. I just need to add some water to them. So I'm gonna grab that. This one is turning a little bit weird color, so I'm going to wipe off my paintbrush again, and then I'm going to bring in Picked Raspberry. I think this one got a little orange in it, but it's okay. And then I'm just going to start at the top. Alright, now I'm going to just spray a little bit of water on there and wipe that off. That. Then I'm going to bring in my Spiced Marmalade, and I am going to go right in there, just like that. I'm going to wipe off that orange, and then I will bring in the yellow. I think I need a little bit more ink, so I'm gonna add some to my mat and then just kind of mix it. All right, then I will come in very last with peacock feathers, and this one is going to need a lot of blending because we are missing the bridge color green, but that is okay. Alright, so I'm going to bring that color down. And up into the yellow so we can get a nice mix. And I really like that. I think that looks really cool. So now onto this card. I am going to stamp "I'm with you" on the inside. So I have lined that up, and now I'm going to just pick it up. And I'm going to use Ranger Archival ink in jet black. And ink that up. Some spots that aren't quite right. So then I will flip that over. I did get a smudge on the side a little bit, but I think it will be okay. Right. So it's stamped really well, and I think that is a really great card. To finish these cards off, I'm going to use Ceramicoat Metallic 14 Karat Gold acrylic paint, and then all I need is just a little dot onto the side, and then I'm going to use a little bit of water. I'm going to move the card out of the way. Bring them back in, and I'm going to grab the paintbrush that I used earlier, and I will mix that together and get a lot on my brush. And then I'm just gonna do some splatters. I don't really want them on the inside, so I've taped them down. And I'm just gonna splatter those all over. And I think that's good. Maybe a few more over here. And I really like those. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and come see me next Tuesday. Have a great day. See you soon.